So about a year ago, my girlfriend said that when I got good at blacksmithing, she wanted me to make her some nice kitchen knives. So yesterday, Damascus, kind of hard to see there. Nice bone handle. Now she hasn't seen this yet, but about a year ago, and yesterday, still no good at it, so I just bought one. I actually got this at a pawn shop, local pawn shop. I'm gonna be gonna miss that place. So basically, it's a kitchen knife. That's what it is. I mean, you could use it for camping. I mean, look at how thick that spine is. It's a pretty thick spine. Now, the only trouble is I don't know the specs. I don't know what kind of steels the blacksmith used. I don't know what kind of bone he used for the handle. So I can't really do a full review on it. I'm also not going to go chopping wood with it because it's a kitchen knife, but I feel like it could handle that if you tried. I know you probably can't really see that either, but it's got kind of an apple seed grind. I don't know if that's good for like cooking, so I'll give it to her and see if she can't use it for whatever. I mean, I can take it to a grinder and try to grind it down a little bit. If it works, that's great. So when I got it, there was a little bit of rust on it, which was just a couple areas here and there, surface rust, nothing hard to get off. Definitely want to remove that though from whatever knife you're using for cooking because it's not very safe to keep rust on whatever you're using to prepare your food with. There's a little bit more on the handle I still need to remove. That's not going to be too hard though. She actually got me a grinder, well, not a grinder, one of those sanders for my birthday, and it came with some really fine sandpaper, 240 grit, so I'm going to use that to just remove the surface rust, which is what I used for the blade, and I was worried that it would ruin the pattern, but it didn't. It seems to all be fine. And it is dangerously pointy. I mean, you can't really tell that from here, but it is dangerously pointy. It actually does feel pretty good in the hand. Not a whole lot to say about it. It's not meant for it's not meant for comfort just because of the type of knife it is. You can also kind of see that whatever blue dye he was using, well, it's pretty much faded off on this side, but on that side you can still see it. And you can't really see that, but all the rivets he used in the handle, and those are quite smooth. The whole thing feels very comfortable. It's a little thicker in the middle here, just for holding on to. So the guy that runs the pawn shop, he himself is a blacksmith, and I go in there occasionally, just talk to him, see what's new. I actually got my saber from him for a fairly good price. I mean, it's a wall hanger, so, I'm not going to go chopping anything with it. But I like the guy. He didn't make this, but he's got a friend who makes knives for him, and he sells those at his pawn shop, I assume, for an increased price, because I don't know if any of the money he makes from the knives actually goes back to his blacksmith friend, but I would assume so. Next time I'm in there, I'll have to ask him about that. But, I mean, the knives seem to be good quality. Now, it's funny because whenever I look at a knife, I don't know the brand, I'm a little skeptical. As soon as someone says it's hand-forged or homemade by whoever, well, specifically when it's hand-forged instead of homemade, then I'm willing to trust the quality a little bit more. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. I guess it's because people who make knives that look this pretty, and I know knives can look pretty but be terrible, but I mean, everything feels good. Like, the fit and finish is spectacular. Nothing's loose. Nothing's, uneven. Everything is so well-rounded that I feel like if I did chop into something hard with this, it wouldn't hurt the hand too much. I mean, it is, you can see it's got the handle scales here, so you would feel some hand shock through the tang, but again, it's a kitchen knife, so when are you going to go and do that? I mean, I wouldn't personally. It's not meant for that kind of thing, but, Now, this is a knife that you will have to oil, because as I mentioned earlier, there's a bit of rust on it, which is completely gone from the blade now, so that'll be fine. I'll oil it later, and once I get the stuff off the tang, then it should be good to go. Now, it did also come with a leather sheath. Now this is not actually the sheath for the knife. He sells these something like 15 bucks a piece. This came free with the knife just because it fits. I don't know who made these. I can't see any brand name on them, but they seem like good leather. So even if you wanted to buy one and then, you know, take it apart and use the leather for something else. Yeah, so you can see that the knife, wow, imagine that. The knife fits inside a sheath. So it doesn't fit perfectly just because the sheath wasn't designed for this knife, or the other way around. And it rests on your, I mean, that would rest pretty low if hanging from your belt, but it's not gonna, you can see it did slide out, but I don't think it'll come loose after, well, any more than that anyway. And it's a nice looking sheath too. All nicely stitched with extra leather on the end, which I assume is just for decoration, but of course you can take it off and use it for whatever you want. So there's not much more to say about the sheath. I do like the smell of it. I know that's probably pretty weird, but I like the smell of leather. I don't know why. It just it smells nice. Is that weird? Yeah, I'm going to assume it's weird. I feel like there's a lot of extra material here. They could probably cut down on the size for whoever made this, but for what it is, you know, it's decent. I mean, it's all stitched together, and leather sheets, man, they're good. Depending on the quality of the leather and who made them, of course, but this did come with the knife for free, so I'm not going to complain about it. Just a safe way to carry the knife. I mean, like I said, this thing is dangerously pointy. And I know that's like, oh, imagine that, it's a knife, and it's pointy. Well, yeah, but this is like definitely one of the pointier knives that I've used. So, before I wrap things up, I'm going to show off the Damascus pattern again. It's very subtle compared to some Damascus patterns that I've seen. If you start mixing different carbon steels, then you can really see a difference in texture and color. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I really like this thing. I feel like I could probably grind it down and turn it into a camping knife. I'm not going to, unless it needs to be ground because it's got kind of an apple seed grind, but I trust the guy who made it. I've never met the guy, but when someone says that the knife they're selling or they have is hand forged, I tend to believe in the quality a lot more than a brand I don't know. Now, I have a feeling actually that this is an older knife. Like, I don't think it's made, you know, this week or whatever, just because the die on the handle is fading and there's a bit of rust on it. Other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I mean, I haven't used it. I don't know what to use it for. Cutting things. I mean, it is a knife. I am not a cook. I don't cook food. I just eat the food. I make sandwiches. I make eggs. I make pancakes from pancake mix. Other than that, I'm completely useless in a kitchen. I made cookies once, and they didn't turn out as terribly as I expected. You know, people ate them, seemed to enjoy them. So I'm really excited to give that to her. I don't know, maybe she'll like it. It actually wasn't as expensive as I would have thought something like that would be. It was only 40 bucks, so that's a pretty good deal. I mean, some nice leather sheaths like this alone would be a lot more, but, you know, you get good deals at a pawn shop sometimes. Anyway, so my first Damascus knife, I didn't make it, but I bought it, and it is genuine Damascus. Like I said, I don't know the materials that were used, but it is nice. I am happy with it so far, and I hope she is too. Because I gotta say, I so far really like Damascus. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you see a nice Damascus cooking knife, and, well, maybe your wife is looking for some new kitchen knives, I'd say go for it. Anyway, have a good one, folks. Or don't. Again, that's up to you.